One fateful day, Acmetropolis is greeted by what I can only describe as Terra Venture dressed up for a rave, as a voice greets the city planet with an announcement.
Citizens of Acmetropolis, feast your eyes on the interstellar orbiting space Earth, the greatest show in the universe.
I'm sorry, what kind of circus?
Space!
Ah, good, just making sure I heard you right. This is Ringmaster, the owner and master of ceremonies for this intergalactic circus. And you know this is going to be the episode of all time because Tim Curry is here, and he's being as Tim Curry as ever.
Gathered from every corner of the galaxy for your eye-popping enjoyment. You'll be thrilled, chilled, and astounded, so run, don't walk, to the greatest show in the universe!
Ringmaster starts out the show with a group of mixed-up creatures he calls the Galactic Oddities, whom he claims were found by him across the far reaches of the galaxy. But let's be honest here, this guy is just ripping off the wuzzles. We are then introduced to Otto, a proclaimed trained professional daredevil who clearly doesn't want to be here, as he's spun on a wheel while one of the oddities spits energy balls at him? After the performance, we see the crowds leaving the big top, all while Ringmaster and Otto watch, focusing their attention on a little boy. Ringmaster orders Otto to fire what he calls the Sonic DNA Scrambler at the boy, which the short and stout assistant does with glee. A little while later, we see the boy and his family making their way home, but eventually the DNA Scrambler takes effect, turning the boy into Alligator Loki, apparently. With his parents none the wiser, the boy runs off, eventually running into Ringmaster and Otto, who welcomes him into the Galactic Oddity family. We get a subtle reference to another Tim Curry role as we fade to the intro. One intro later, we cut back to the circus, as Otto begins the task of feeding the oddities. One of them, a monkey-chameleon hybrid, breaks out and manages to escape. When confronted by Ringmaster, he admits that he himself let the thing out, if only for the sole purpose of leading them right to him. 3 guesses as to who them are, and the first 2 don't count. We fade to HQ, where Tech is showing off a new toy to Lexi, a goo blaster that can, theoretically, trap any adversary with ease. Turns out this is being done to pass the time, as Sadavia is inconspicuously absent. Lexi's ears pick up something suspicious, which turns out to be the monkey chameleon. After a failed attempt by Duck to blast it to smithereens with his fire blasts, Ace notices the thing's collar and realizes it came from the circus. So, in an act of goodwill, the rabbit decides the best course of action would be to return it. I sure hope nothing bad happens. Once they make it onto the circus ship, the monkey iguana gets the team to follow it, which leads the Loonatics down where the rest of the oddities are being kept. Pleased that the oddity led them right into his hands, Ringmaster dispatches a pair of oddities to capture them. Realizing they're hostile, the Loonatics begin fending them off with relative ease. The team then discovers what appears to be some sort of lab, which Tech gets to work hacking into to analyze what it does. As seen in the cold open, the oddities are all people that Ringmaster has genetically modified and kidnapped to be performers in his circus. Once they make this realization, the door shuts behind them and the Loonatics are all captured in unbreakable tubes.
I am the greatest showman in the universe, and you, my friends, are about to become my new opening act.
I don't mean to take this the wrong way, but out of the entire writing team seen in this show so far, Stephen Creozier is the one that sticks out like a sore thumb the most. Starting out as a production assistant on the sitcom Blossom, Creozier would be a writer for the likes of Viper, Sliders, Team Knight Rider, and Nightman. But his biggest claim to fame is the Pamela Anderson vehicle VIP, for which he was a producer, story editor, and writer for. The World Is My Circus would be the only episode of Loonatics Creozier would write for, and it would be only one of 4 animated shows he would ever work for. Outside of Loonatics, the only other animated shows he wrote for included Hi Hi Puffy Amiyumi, the MTV Spider-Man series, and Edgar and Ellen, all with 1 episode each, and in the case of Hi Hi Puffy Amiyumi, 1 segment. His more recent credits include NCIS, Castle, Femme Fatales, Necessary Roughness, Agent X, and Pandora. A voice director is the one in charge of directing the voice cast's performances, and for Loonatics, that job fell to Jamie Simone, a veteran in the industry. There's a very good chance you've seen a show or played a game that he voice directed. Simone got his start working at Fox Kids with the likes of Creepy Crawlers, Is No Good, Walter Melon, and Spider-Man Unlimited. Then would mix in some video games into his resume, including a few Naruto games and Hot Shots Golf 4. Then he'd get steady work as the voice director for Totally Spies. Simone would remain the voice director for all of Loonatics Unleashed's run. Rather than tell you what else Simone worked on, I implore you to go look him up on IMDb and just look through his resume, because there's just too much notable stuff for me to include here. Just be sure to come back when you're done looking, though. There's still, like, a lot of video left, and damn it, you made it this far. When we return from commercial break, Ringmaster reveals that ever since he first learned about the Lunatics' existence, he had set out to include them as acts in his circus, going as far as tweaking his DNA scrambler to properly accommodate for their unique genetic makeup. Otto activates the device, which begins transmutating the Lunatics. Thinking quickly, Ace yells at Tech to use his new toy, which he shoots up through the connecting tube and into the base of the scrambler, causing it to explode and free the team. But the damage has already been done. The Lunatics may have destroyed the device, but their genetics have been altered and have been turned into oddities. But their genetics aren't the only things out of place. The Lunatics' powers have also been swapped around. Ace and Duck's powers are swapped, Lexi and Slam's powers have swapped, and Rev and Tech's powers have swapped. Due to inexperience, the team has trouble adapting to their new powers, resulting in a lot of friendly fire when Ringmaster lets the other oddities out to fight them. With the odds stacked against them, Ace orders a retreat, the team hiding out in the ship's sewer system. While assessing their situation, an aquatic oddity emerges from the depths and coils the entire team up, Lexi using Slam's powers to break them free and out of the creature's clutches.
I am so grossed out. That gorilla snake licked me! Blech! I'm gonna need a hot bath quick.
I like slime.
We need a plan and fast. I can't live like this.
Ace and Tech devise a plan to somehow rebuild the DNA scrambler, which, thanks to inheriting Rev's super speed, will help reconstruction go by much quicker. Tech speeds off to find the remains of the scrambler, while the rest of the team fends off any oddities that come their way. Once inside, Tech confronts Ringmaster, the Coyote dial using Rev's speed to evade attacks and steal and destroy the whip that Ringmaster tried attacking him with.
That's for calling me Egghead.
The rest of the Lunatics are able to properly fight back with the power of good old-fashioned teamwork, telling each other how to properly use their powers. While this is happening, Otto watches from the wings. With the genetic descrambler assembled, Tech gets to work turning all of the oddities back into their human selves. Don't like how nearly all of them are kids. Before turning him and the rest of the Lunatics back to normal. The monkey chameleon, as it turns out, was Sadavia the whole time. As Duck fears for the inevitable lashing he's going to get for nearly killing her back at HQ, Ringmaster attempts to make a getaway, only for Ace to lock the only exit, preventing him from escaping. Then comes the twist. Otto re-emerges, revealing himself to be the true mastermind behind the circus, and scrambling Ringmaster's DNA to turn him into a hulking monstrosity of an oddity. Tech attempts to use the descrambler, but Ringmaster knocks it out of his hand, crushing it with one of his monstrous tentacles. Slam chucks one of Ringmaster's crab claws in Otto's direction, hitting him to the floor and crushing his personal scrambling device. Tech theorizes that if sound waves trigger the transformation, then something as loud as a sonic boom would probably be enough to turn Ringmaster back to normal. By combining Slam's spins with Rev's super speed, they manage to achieve a sonic boom and revert Ringmaster back to his old self, at the expense of causing the space circus to fall out of the sky and crash into Acmetropolis Harbor. Ringmaster and Otto attempt to flee, but Tech shoots them with his goo gun, encasing them in gelatinous cubes.
That was a lucky shot, Tech.
True genius is never appreciated.
Stay calm, boys and girls. The Acme Rescue Unit is here to take you home.
With the kids now in the care of the proper authorities, and the circus duo behind bars, all's well that ends well, right?
Oh, I did forget one thing. Duck, we need to talk. Alone. Now.
Busted.
Help.
The World is My Circus is another episode I vividly remember watching when the show was still new. And I think part of that is due to how the plot of an evil showman kidnapping children and turning them into beasts gave me war flashbacks to that scene from Disney's Pinocchio. Which brings up an aspect of this episode that isn't really touched upon, but it's still pretty scary when you think about it. Every single oddity seen in this episode was just some kid that got plucked from the crowds to be turned into a horrific creature, and then enslaved to be part of an intergalactic circus against their will. I can only imagine how hectic Acmetropolis police stations are during this episode, being inundated with swarms of scared parents wondering where their kids have gone. It also reminded me of a book I read in high school called Galaxarena by Gillian Rubinstein, a sci-fi novel about 3 Australian kids who are drugged and kidnapped by aliens and are forced to perform death-defying stunts in the titular arena for an alien race who feed off of their adrenaline. Definitely worth hunting down a copy to read. Ringmaster and Otto are probably my favorite villain seen so far. They aren't trying to destroy Acmetropolis like the rest of the Rogues Gallery. They're just, well, kidnapping children. And having Tim Curry in the guest spot only guarantees the highest quality ham of cheese, with a side order of D. Bradley Baker as the dill pickle spear.
They don't call you Egghead for nothing.
That's Dr. Egghead to you.
Actually, the show must go on, for we have one last surprise. Feast your eyes on our main attraction!
On an unrelated note, does anyone else think Otto could have been voiced by Jack Black? He gives off Jack Black energy to me and I don't know why.